I'm Tim Blevins. I'm a simple middle school STEM teacher. Most mornings are filled with circuits, 3D printers, and the smell of solder. I get to watch kids light up when something they built actually moves. After the final bell, I trade the laptops for cleats and step onto the sideline. And at the end of the day, I head home to my wife and 2 wild little boys.
But there's another dream I've had since I was a kid, to see the world and bring these 3 with me while we do it. So I started something new. I built an AI channel called Almost There. It's where I share the places we're planning to explore. Right now, sharing it this way lets us feel like we're out there already. And if someone else can catch a glimpse of that dream through our channel, maybe it'll spark a little adventure in them too. One day, we'll make it to every spot we post about. But until then, this is how we travel.
Blue sky calls your name out loud. Let your worries fade into the clouds. Adventures waiting, feel it in the air. Almost there. Yeah, the journey's just begun. Almost there.
Our adventure begins in Toronto. We go to Niagara Falls, Cleveland, Detroit, Alpena, over to Milwaukee, back to Mackinac Island, to Perry Sound, the Sioux Locks, Marquette, and then Duluth. Let the journey begin.
For the next couple of days, I'm turning the camera on, exploring how tech keeps a vessel like this running, and sharing the journey on my AI channel, Almost There. Inside, the windows make the lakes all about the story and the journey, and this trip's just getting started. 5 lakes, a dozen ports, 2 weeks.
It's embarkation morning, just after 11, and time to start the journey review on the Viking Polaris.
I've got the suitcase packed and the important stuff, passport and health record, right on top. At the Toronto dock, luggage is taken care of straight away.
Aboard the Viking Polaris.
Hi everyone, Tim Blevins here with Almost There. We're on the Toronto waterfront, and that beauty behind me is the Viking Polaris. Home for the next week. I'm kicking off a full ship review, and I can't wait to show you. Tell this ship has that understated luxury vibe. Clean lines, warm wood, everything feels calm. It's like stepping into a boutique hotel that just happens to sail the world. And out here on deck, look at this. Toronto never looked better than from a ship gliding out of the harbor.
The first stop on our journey is the Welland Canal in Niagara Falls.
Pretty incredible watching the ship rise inside these massive concrete walls. Feels like we're in an elevator made of water. From here we hop a short ride, and in no time we're on our way to the main attraction. And here it is, Niagara Falls in all its misty glory. You can hear it before you see it. You're not stopping there. Time to suit up for the Maid of the Mist. This ride takes you right into the heart of the Horseshoe Falls. You get drenched, you get windblown, and it's absolutely worth it. Now we're behind the falls. You can feel the power thundering just a few feet away from you. It's like the earth is breathing. And down here at the base, the view is unreal.
Niagara Falls was formed 12,000 years ago by melting glaciers. Over 700,000 gallons plunged down per second, generating massive hydroelectric power.
What a day.
Welcome back aboard, Mr. Blevins. How was your excursion?
Spectacular.
Busy day. Great experience.
What a day at the falls. Can't wait for Cleveland tomorrow.
Morning.
Good breakfast and coffee.
What a beautiful way to start the day.
Time to get ready for Cleveland.
Here we are, Cleveland. The ship's tied up and we're just a short walk from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This place celebrates the soundtrack of our lives, and you feel that energy the moment you hit the plaza. Inside, it's a treasure trove. Gift, guitars, stage outfits, lyrics scribbled on napkins.
Just wrapped up at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Incredible guitars, wild stories, the whole deal. Now the excursion takes us to Cleveland's legendary West Side Market for a taste of Cleveland. This place has been feeding the city for more than a century. Back on board, our ship's waiting right on the lakefront. I won't lie. Cleveland gave me a workout and a full bag of treats. Time to trade the windbreaker for something a little sharper. Jacket, tie, a quick check in the mirror, and we're ready for the captain's dinner. There's nothing like walking into the dining room.
A look at the menu. Steak, please. Now it's time for some community dining.
That looks incredible.
That looks incredible.
Manfredi's knows how to spoil a guy. Yeah, it smells fantastic.
Manfredi's taste it. The butter just melts into the steak.
I'm already sold. To good meals and good company.
Cheers.
Salute.
So, where are you two heading after Cleveland?
Chicago. First time for both of them.
With that, I'm beat. Time for bed. Morning, Detroit. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Today we visit Detroit, a city steeped in history, from a history of an industrial powerhouse to Motown. Today we visit the Henry Ford Museum, where we get to see the mecca of planes, trains, and automobiles. What a remarkable place. From industrial powerhouse to the assembly line to the mecca of automobiles. What a visit. What an outstanding.
Point the car toward downtown Detroit and the bright lights of Greektown. Inside the casino, it's a kaleidoscope of sound and color. I try my luck on a slot and a friendly blackjack table. Nothing too serious, just for fun. After a couple small wins and a warm coffee for the walk back, we step into the crisp night air. The riverfront is a short stroll. Beautiful morning on the river. Here comes the Ambassador Bridge and the new Gordie Howe Bridge just ahead. What a view. Could cruise this all day. I'm on to cruise making it, sliding into Lake St. Clair now. So much open water ahead. The water bridge straight ahead. Always amazes me sailing under these spans. Lake Huron's out there waiting for us. Couldn't ask for a better morning.
Time for a lecture.
These very small shellfish arrived here in the late 80s, hitchhiking in ballast water. Once released, they attach to virtually any hard surface, docks, pipes, even the other mussels around
Fascinating.
them.
Something, seeing the skyline open up like that and sliding under the bridge. Hard to believe the same water carries those tiny hitchhikers all over.
Time to check out what's on board. Our first stop is the buffet.
Welcome aboard the Viking Polaris. We're in the middle of a Great Lakes scientific expedition, collecting climate data by day, but cruising in total comfort every night. Part of that comfort is this, the ship's all-inclusive buffet. We're mid-expedition on the Great Lakes, and after a morning of mapping ancient lake beds, this all-inclusive buffet is a very welcome sight. Everything you see behind me is included. No extra charges, just grab a plate and explore.
The next stop, the Nordic Spa.
Here on Deck 2 of the Viking Polaris is one of my favorite complimentary spaces on the ship, the Nordic Spa. It's Scandinavian-inspired, all about recovery after a day of expedition hiking or kayaking. It's the perfect place to let your heart rate settle after a lecture or an excursion. A towel, a book, a glass of lemon water. It's hard to imagine a better view than that one right out the window. I'll usually spend 20 minutes here, maybe nod off for a bit, before I'm ready to head back out for whatever's next on the itinerary. You'll find it's one of those spaces you remember long after the voyage, not because it was flashy, but because it lets you exhale. There's still a whole afternoon ahead of me, maybe a hike in Tromsø or a cooking class, but I'm stepping into it feeling reset, and that's thanks to this place.
Welcome to the lab.
Thought I'd show you one of my favorite corners of the ship. This is the research lab, equipped for real science, not just showpieces.
And for the next week, she's our floating research station on the Great Lakes.
Let me show you what makes this expedition ship so special.
Welcome to the science hangar aboard the Viking Polaris.
This is where the research gear lives for our Great Lakes expedition. And behind me is one of its stars, the two-person submersible that lets us get beneath the surface and see what few people ever do. It's compact, has a 360-degree acrylic seat ahead like it's air. I can bring the manipulator out to the edge here. Even underwater, it feels precise, like guiding a camera gimbal. I'd like to swing the arm back out and grab a handful of those mussels on the basalt there. There we go, nice and easy. They break free with a little twist. I'll drop them into the tray. Perfect, lid's sealed. That'll give the lab a fresh set to look at for contaminants or microplastics. It's wild to think these little filter feeders have been down here for decades, cleaning the water around them.
Time for some onboard reviews.
Aboard the Viking Polaris on our Great Lakes scientific expedition, and this bar might just be the ship's coziest laboratory. I'm asking guests what they think of the voyage. What stood out for you?
The Science Center. I peered at Lake Superior plankton under the microscope this morning.
Fascinating.
The Citizen Science Lab, hands down. We collected microplastic samples in Lake Superior and then analyzed them with the scientists on
The
board.
Viking Polaris is easing into Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary, home to nearly 100 historic shipwrecks scattered across the bay. Each site tells a different story, some of triumph, some of tragedy, and all of them add another layer to the history of commerce and travel on the Great Lakes. Divers with Sanctuary continue to study these wrecks, documenting their condition and preserving artifacts where they lie. Here at the Heritage Center, interactive exhibits bring those discoveries to life. It's a place where history isn't just remembered, it's felt. Out here, every light on the water, every wave against the hull, connects us to the generations who came before. Spend an evening along the shore, share stories by a fire, or simply watch the beacon sweep across the bay. However you choose to experience it, tomorrow brings more stories, more water, more wonder. For now, it's enough to drift to sleep with the lighthouse keeping watch. We'll see you in the morning. Sun's just coming up over Lake Michigan, and the Viking Polaris is sliding into Milwaukee.
Welcome to Milwaukee, everyone.
It's a glassy morning, and that skyline is right there waiting for us. You can actually see the art museum's wings opening. Pretty great welcome. We're tossing the lines now, so we're about to be on shore. First steps into Milwaukee. All right, let's walk it off. This promenade hugs the lake and rolls right into the third ward. These old warehouses are filled with galleries and cafes now. Past the string lights, that's the public market. Inside, you can graze all perfect squeak. A few blocks north, City Hall. 1895 and still showing off. And because we're settling in for the night, next time you're up this way, give Milwaukee a couple hours. We'll give you a lot back. Now, Milwaukee is waking up, and so am I. Welcome to the deck.
deck of the Viking Polaris. We're in the middle of a Great Lakes scientific expedition, and that green tower behind me, that's the Mackinac Bridge. We're about to slip right under it. Call it the Mighty Mac, and for good reason. This suspension bridge stretches 5 miles from shore to shore. It opened November 1st, 1957, and at the time it changed everything for Michiganders. Those twin towers rise 552 feet above the straits.
Standing on the top deck of the Viking Polaris, anchored just off Mackinac Island, this ship is purpose-built for scientific expeditions on the Great Lakes and beyond, while still giving passengers hotel-level comfort. Behind me, the science team is preparing a radio sonde, a weather instrument that will ride a balloon high into the atmosphere. There it goes. Watch how fast
Just stepped off the Viking Polaris, which is docked right behind me. I'm spending the night on Mackinac Island at the Grand Hotel, and I can't wait. It's a short walk from the tender dock to the island. Headed into town to see what everyone's talking about. These carriages are way cooler than a taxi. The whole street sounds like clip-clop and bell jingles. And of course, you can't come to Mackinac without fudge. Still warm, so good. Bag secured. Next up, bikes. There are no cars on the island, so it's the best way to get around.
Feels like stepping back in time, doesn't it? Best way to see the island. The clip-clop, the lake right there, the air. I could ride this all evening. And there she is. Look at that porch coming into view. Pull up right by the steps. Thank you. The Grand Hotel at sunset. Couldn't ask for better. Oh. There it is. Fort Mackinac. Here I come.
Built by the British in 1780, this post swapped hands more than once during the Revolution and the War of 1812. Now it's a state historic park, perfectly preserved.
Oh, that echoed off the walls. Ha! Incredible.
Long day on Mackinac. My legs are glad to feel this dock again. Fudge, forts, horses, what a combination. There she is, the Polaris, home for the night.
Welcome back, Mr. Blevins. Good day on the island?
Best one yet. I'm ready for dinner, though.
Enjoy, sir.
Smells like they're grilling up top. Sunset and the lake itself came back with me.
Evening, sir. Fresh whitefish off the grill if you'd like.
You read my mind.
Here you go, lemon and potatoes on the side.
Looks perfect.
Thanks, chef.
Enjoy your dinner, sir.
First bite after a day like today, that's what it's all about. Lake, sunset, and a plate of fish. Can't beat it.
Now, riding the Viking Polaris, we're sliding into Parry Sound, Ontario. The air's crisp, the water's like glass, and those islands are lit up with fall color. We're easing right alongside the pier. Look at that name on the hull. First steps ashore. They've got the welcome sign, the flag waving, and you can smell the pine from here. Life jacket on, paddle ready. This place was made for a kayak. These islands look like someone spilled a bag of jewels across the bay. Maples glowing red, birch and aspen blazing gold, and the evergreens holding the whole palette together. Between them are narrow channels of glassy water where you can hear nothing. The channel opens up here, and it feels like the lake just takes a deep breath. Look at that. Bald eagle, right on cue. When you're this low to the water, everything feels bigger. The cliffs, the sky, even the quiet. The sun's already leaning west. We'll follow for a while and see where the light ends. Most pressed with kayaking. Time to head back to the Polaris. There's a hot stone bench with my name on it.
Thanks, appreciate it.
After a day on the water, the spa feels like stepping into another climate. Warm wood, quiet, and the smell of eucalyptus. This is the kind of heat you don't paddle for. You just let it soak in. Now I could stay in here all night, but my room's calling. Nothing like hot water and cold air to remind you how good a simple face wash feels. Tomorrow, we'll be in a new bay, new sky. But for now, this is enough. We're in Sault Ste. Marie, and that's the Viking Polaris easing into the famous Sault Lock. Inside the chamber, the scale of the walls is impressive, yet the process is smooth and quiet. From the open deck here, you can watch the water drop while you get the intimacy of the walls and the water. But watch what happens when you pull back. The whole ship fits perfectly between these concrete shoulders, almost like it's being cradled. You can see the balconies stacked like bleachers, the lifeboats tucked in snug, and the wake already stretching toward open water. Continuing my review of the Viking Polaris as we ease past Whitefish Point. The deck of the Viking Polaris, sailing the big water of Lake Superior toward Michigan's Upper Peninsula.
The Viking Polaris this morning, crossing the blue-gray expanse of Lake Superior on our way to Marquette. The ship is gliding through patches of late winter ice, leaving a winding wake behind us. Inside the lounge, it's warm, and the view is all, let's head ashore. Marquette's one of those towns where everything feels close. You can walk from the pier right into downtown in a matter of minutes. Historic brick storefronts, a church with a copper spire, it's all right here. First stop, coffee at one of my favorite local roasters. With a warm cup in hand, the lakefront trail is a perfect way to take in the view.
We're easing into Duluth now, the last stop on this Great Lakes run aboard the Viking Polaris. You can see the bridge up ahead. It's a calm water and a lot of excited faces on deck. 15 days, 5 lakes, countless memories, and here we are. Thanks for coming
This journey in Toronto, boarding the Viking Polaris with big expectations and a bigger smile. As we slipped past the skyline and the CN Tower, the ship felt like a modern boutique hotel.
It was a mix of exploration and comfort.
Exactly what I hoped. Most mornings started with the ship sliding through calm water, the sun lifting over forested islands while I stood on deck with a cup of coffee. Then we'd step off for something active, like the day we kayaked beneath Durgeon in the river mouth. They're ancient armored fish, some longer than I am. You hover beside them and it feels like time slows down. The water was clear, shafts of light coming through, and these giants just kept
river walk this morning, coffee in hand. I can't help but replay the week. Every day felt like a different chapter, each one better than the last. Next adventure? I don't know exactly where I'll go next, but I do know this. I'm ready. Ready for more mornings like this, more cities waking up, more stories to carry home. Because when you find a journey that fills you up, you don't ever really leave it behind.
We're on the deck of the Viking Polaris, crossing Lake Michigan this afternoon. The water's like glass. Wait, do you see that? Right out there. Oh my, it's coming up. That is not a boat. It's a craft. It's lifting straight out of the lake. This is unreal. Just came out of the water. Whoa! Just, God! I can't believe what we just saw. I'll never forget that.
Let's check you over. Have a seat.
After what I just saw, I can't tell if my heart's racing or if the boat's rocking.
We'll find out in a second. Keep your arms still. Pressure's good. No spikes. Morning. Just checking how you slept.
Took me a while to drift off. Feels like I blinked and the sun was up.
It looks quiet out here, but this stretch of coast is full of stories.
What is that? Can't be. Edmund Fitzgerald? No way.
Did anybody else see that? That was the Fitzgerald, right? How it's just gone. I swear it was right there. The whole ship just slid out of the fog like it was still sailing. But the Edmund Fitzgerald, she's in two pieces, 400 feet down, resting on the bottom.